Hello, Suresh.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, you can hear me and see me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think we have some participants. Let me just see who are all there. Yeah. Yeah, quite a few participants are there.
Yes, sir.
So I'm Srinivasa Kumar. Let me just switch on my light here. 1 second. I suppose Suresh, is the view better now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I welcome you all to this first live session of the Introduction to Database Systems course. So let me, I don't think there are any technical questions in the Google Meet, Google form or something like that. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe I can, I'll be waiting on the chat to see if some questions are posed by the students. Let me take up the. Somebody has.
I think one student is raising hand.
Okay, let me see how to get that.
We have to unmute the student so that they can speak and ask questions.
Okay. Who is that student? Can you see? Because now I don't see that hand raised.
Let me see. Wasavi.
Okay. Wasavi, yeah.
Wasavi.
Is it possible for, okay, let us see whether we can unmute. Yeah, can you hear me? Can you unmute yourself? And then ask me any question. Hello. Some questions are coming by the chat. Is there a recording of last week's problem solving session? Okay. Suresh, do you have any information about this problem solving session? That
Sir, please hold on. I'll check with Advait.
and somebody else is asking Afzal Muhammad. This course will not have any anything on deep learning. Okay.
Yes, sir. Recording is available.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this recording is available. It will be shared by NPTEL. So is Pramod there also online?
Sir, he is not there
Okay.
in this meeting,
Okay.
but he is in the lab.
Okay. Maybe I can talk to him. Yeah, let us see whether there are any technical questions on the content. Let me address the few students who have joined here. So we are planning to hold, these live sessions, and what I would like you to do is to note down any specific questions that you may have while you are going through the video, and also any doubts you may have regarding any clarifications regarding the slides. Those things, please make a note, and whenever a live session comes up like this, you can post those questions on the Google, and then you can come and then have it clarified by me, and also some of the TAs may be joining depending on the number of questions that we may have to handle and all that. So this live session feature is a very interesting part of the course, and I would urge all the learners to kind of make use of this particular feature, because the lectures have been recorded, and then they are all available. But I can imagine that you may get stuck at some little point, and then you may not be able to understand some of the materials later. So it's better for you to kind of make use of these live sessions and then get the things clarified. Okay, so, and this today's session is more like kind of warming up, getting to know many students. I hope these timings are will work out for many people, and if it doesn't work out for some of the people, maybe you can. Okay. Mr. Rajkumar, can you please mute yourself unless you have any question to ask? Yeah, so if you don't have a technical question to ask, please don't unmute yourself. If you have a question to ask, mute yourself and then, unmute yourself and then talk to me. It'll be easier to handle that. Right now, I see one Sashi K, who is unmuted. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Mr. Sashi or Miss Sashi, we don't know. You want me to elaborate more upon conceptual model versus physical model, what it meant by logical representations. Okay, good. Yeah, this is where we talked about this in the introduction session, right? Yeah, you saying something? Somebody was saying something. Yeah, we talked about it in the introduction module. So there basically, I want you to understand that we need different data models to kind of describe this database that we are building or talking about at various levels of its details. No, the point I want you to understand is for a for an end user, for example, you are an end user of IRCTC database system, then you don't really have to understand a lot of details about the internal things, right? You only have to understand very high level details about that as to how to make use of it for booking a reservation or canceling a reservation, or sometimes you may be getting to know more about that particular database as and when the need arises, right? So it is so whereas the builders of that particular database system, information system, have to know all the logical representation. That's what I meant by logical representation. This is the complete relations that are being used and other internal details that are being used. All of them have to be known by the people who are actually designing it. So there are different set of people. Okay, so that is the reason, because we have very different groups of people trying to understand the database in a different way. We have this requirement for having different kind of data models that can be used by these groups of people to describe the database. You understand? I hope you can understand the difference between these things. So for example, the physical model is, it depends on where exactly the data is stored, whether it is stored on networked storage system, or on a bunch of disks and various things. So those things are need to be hidden from other people. I mean, there is no need for you to know, unless you are an engineer who is involved in doing a performance tuning of the database system. Okay, so that's the reason why we have because this database system or information system is a large kind of a system, and it for different groups of people don't have the same level of understanding that is needed. Different people need different levels of understanding. So so there's one more extension of this question. Comes in conceptual model, but it also has entities. So don't we consider what kind of data it is in entity, same as we consider in physical model, like domains of data? So what exactly is differentiating it here? Okay, so when you talk about entities in model, you don't specifically specify or demand that it should be stored as a relation, or as a record, like that. It is more like a conceptual model. There is something like one entity is there, and that entity has these attributes, and these attributes are this kind of attributes is a composite attribute or a simple attribute, etc. This is what you specify. Okay, you don't really go into the other details about that. Let us ask this person to. Okay. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, the difference is that in the physical model, you will get to know about it when we really discuss the full details about how a particular piece of data is stored on disks, etc. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I hope these questions by Sashi K are addressed. If you have any further clarifications, you can type it here. Yeah, in some sense, yeah, that is true. The conceptual models will give you an overall conceptual understanding of the data without going into the details of how those things are actually represented in the computer, etc. Okay. Okay, so let me take another question. Is it mandatory that an entity type has only one attribute as a key? What do you mean by only one attribute? It can have two attributes together also as a key, in which case you will not be able to kind of represent it properly in the ER model diagram. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, there is no restriction as to the only has to be one attribute.
हेलो
हेलो
कौन
गुड इवनिंग मैम बात कर रहा था इंडस्ट्रियल बैंक से
कौन से बैंक से
इंडस
Can you
बैंक से
please,
हाँ बोलो
Miss Komal, can you please mute yourself? Okay.
Sir, can I have one question, please?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yes,
Keval Krishna Singh.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, one question is there from the architecture of RDBMS system.
Mhm.
So you have explained well in the RDBMS architecture, but one confusion which remains for me is that,
Okay.
sir, in a trans manager, there
Mm.
is one arrow to the buffer manager that you have explained.
Mm.
But sir, there is the arrow is from up to down and down to up both. So sir,
Mhm.
what is the process of means buffering manager to go to the transition manager again? That is not point. The point which is not been elaborated in the video.
I see. Okay. Okay, so this is a this is a lecture where I'm trying to give you a very gross idea of how the transaction manager will act. The transaction manager is actually responsible for many things like concurrency, control, and things like that. So, and also, there are interconnected things like the recovery manager, the concurrent transaction manager also have to communicate with each other. So it is in that context I would have probably put those lines in two-way lines, etc. Okay, so don't get too hassled about this issue right away, because we are going to discuss these things in much detailed manner when we go to that particular module of the course. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for
Yeah, you
addressing.
can, of course, you can still ask me some questions at this stage, but unless we understand what exactly, how exactly our transactions represented, and and also the important point that data that is to be dealt with the database management system is actually resident on the disk, and it comes from in the form of pages to the to the buffer, which is there also in the main memory. Okay. And then is used by the processes that are actually running the transactions. All of these things, unless those things are clear, you may not be able to fully appreciate that diagram right now. So we will come back to that diagram at a much later point of time in the course.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, one more point is there. Sir, is the disk storage is the same as data doc?
Disk storage is same as
Data doc. There is one keyword is data doc, which has been mentioned in an assignment question. So I'm been confused there.
data
Doc, DOC.
Data log he's talking, I think.
log.
No, log is another. Log is a
Catalog.
sir. I am
Catalog, maybe a catalog.
after seeing again. I will put the question.
You can have a look at that thing.
Okay, thank you, sir.
It will be catalog. Yeah. Yeah, somebody is asking, Prince Kumar was asking, so can you give an example of generalization ER diagram? Can you clarify this, Prince Kumar? I did not really talk about generalization ER model in the lecture. I can explain why I did not do that also. What exactly you mean by this generalization ER diagram?
क्या कर रहा है
भाई इसमें हमारी क्लास का तो कोई है ही नहीं।
बाकी सब
I think I should probably mute all and then. Is there an NPTEL host here who can control S2?
Yes, sir. One person from NPTEL is there, but we don't know who joined. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's see whether we have this person's something happened. Somebody is trying to share something or what?
Good evening, sir. My name is Kirti. Is there any notes available for this?
What do you mean by notes? I mean,
Means-
see, we have put the slides up. Okay, the slides PDF copy will be available. I think that is accessible to you already, right?
Okay, yeah, I've seen that, but
Yeah.
I was thinking any PDF format, other slide means.
No. See, there are certain books that have been prescribed, so I expect you to read those books along. Also, make any notes during the lecture along with the slides. Okay, so no other textbooks are already there, so we don't want to give any more textbook kind of material.
Okay, thank you. And is there will be means live session will be going on?
Sorry, live sessions will be going on once in a while. Yeah.
Okay.
If not every week, I think something like once in 10 days or 2 weeks, something like that. I am trying to hold a live session, so you can make a note of the doubts that you may be getting, and then in case you got stuck somewhere or you want to clarification, you can make a note of it and enter it in our Google form when it is given. or join this live session and ask these questions. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't want to switch on their. Yeah, this Prince Kumar is saying DBMS generalization. What I still don't understand what you're trying to ask, Prince Kumar. Okay, while Prince Kumar is thinking about it, somebody is asking about OLTP versus OLAP. Saurav Biswas. OLTP is online transaction processing, whereas OLAP comes off, OLAP is online analytical processing that comes in the context of data warehousing and data cubes and in such context. I hope it answers. OLTP is online transaction processing. That is what we are mostly concerned about in the database introduction to database systems course. Okay. An instance of a relation scheme has distinct values for attributes. Can you conclude that it is? Pratik Kurana is asking that question. Yeah, okay. I hope you, I hope I'm not answering one of your tutorial questions or whatever assignment questions. But anyway, in general, I think I have probably emphasized in the lecture also that by looking at the instance in a relation, instance data, you can't make out whether some attribute is a candidate key or not. Okay. Remember that in the definition of the candidate key, we clearly said that that attribute must have the property that its value can uniquely identify, uniquely identify an entity. Okay. So that property comes inherently from the understanding of that attribute in that context. Okay, just because it has some distinct values, it doesn't become a key. Okay, I think somebody is asking some other. Jubin is asking. Good evening. My question is, can ER models, ER diagrams, ER to relational mapping can ensure all kinds of reports in the domain? What do you mean by reports? Reports are a different issue, right? Reports are a different issue. We are not talking about reports here. Okay. Saurav Biswas is asking some question that might come much later, so I won't take it up right now. Is asking about some non-clustered index and all that. So we have not yet covered that, so I would not take up that question. What is the difference between composite key and compound key? I don't think we introduced these terms, Mr. Sashi. We said it's a key. Yes. Okay. An attribute will have, you're talking about in the context of ER models, right? An attribute has the property of being a key. Are you talking about a composite attribute and multi-valued attribute? What exactly are you talking about? Yeah, let us confine the questions to what you have understood, what has been covered in the recent, the 2 weeks, so that, it is clear that what is the scope in which we are answering the questions. Okay, I think that's better. Yeah, so I don't know whether you have, this is, I think, week, it is just the second week that is running, right? Or third week is running, right? So just 2 weeks of lectures got completed. I think introduction and ER model would have been covered. So I will request you to confine your questions to that. Yeah, so Jubin, I will take up your question much later. Don't worry about these things right away. Try to answer, try to keep you to the current content. Okay. Okay, let's see.
Sir,
Mm.
sir, one question is there.
Okay, go ahead.
Sir, in a case of a domain of attributes, in the scale of domain of attributes, we have domain of composite attributes, in which slide has been given us that the cross product of domains of component attributes,
Yeah,
that it will contain of the cross products.
yeah.
So, sir, in which context we will consider the cross product within the entities?
Okay, see, okay, it's an interesting question and very specific question. Good for that. So what I have been saying is that each of the attributes of the entity will have values from a particular domain, a set of values. Okay. So it is in that context we are talking about that. Okay. So if it is a simple attribute, then it will have a corresponding set of values, and from there it will take one of the values. Okay. But if it is, let's say it's a composite attribute, then it has components, and each of those components takes values from that corresponding set, right? And so the composite attribute will take values, okay, that are from the cross product of these two sets. So let's take a simple example. Let's take a case where there is a composite attribute with just two components, X and Y. Okay. So X takes values from set X and Y takes values from set Y. Okay. Those are the component attributes, so to say. Okay. And so now the composite attribute obviously takes values, from the cross product of set X and set Y. I hope your answer is, your question is
Sir,
I hope you
somehow
understand that.
understood. Somehow understood.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So each of these attributes technically takes values from a set. So now what we are trying to understand is what is that set? What is that set? So if it is a simple attribute, it will be a simple set. But if it is a composite attribute, then it will be the cross product of the sets corresponding to each of the components of the composite attribute. Okay.
Means within a set only we will look. Means we will have the two different sets, and within
Yeah.
the two different sets only we will have to gather from A cross B.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Means the domain will be
No,
only one.
let me give you a very concrete example to
Yeah,
answer
yes,
this
yes.
question. Let's take a name. Let's take a name. Name is let's say is modeled as a composite attribute with first name and component first name and component last name. First name and last name. There are two components. So first name takes values from a string. Last name also takes values from a set, underlying set of strings. Let's say we have put a upper bound on the length of the first name as, like, say, 10 character strings. And the last name also we have put an upper bound saying that some 6 character strings. So this 10 character strings will form the set for the first name. 6 character strings will form the set for the last name. And for the name, it is one 10 character string and one 6 character string, the combination. That is the tuple, the set of tuples. That is the values for the name.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You understood?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So that's how you have to check that. Okay. Okay. Any other? Let's see whether somebody wants to ask questions relevant to what has happened in the last 2 weeks. Komal Jayanti is asking some administrative question, which I don't think we have control on assignment deadlines for an individual student. Okay. If you have joined late, whatever you can submit, you submit. Okay, let's see. Maybe some of you can turn on your videos. We can have a okay. Keval Krishna Singh, we can see you now. Which part of the country are you from?
Sir, from India only, Jharkhand.
Jharkhand. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are an engineering student?
No, sir. I have completed my master's in economics. And after that, I was completed triple ITP 1 data science course. I joined Magma HDI, but I left the organization due to the work culture pressure. And I want to study further.
Good.
Because I was not clear about my concepts. Clear concept was not there from triple ITP. It is just a 1-year course. And I haven't got the conceptual clarity. So I joined the NPTEL.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so let's see whether they have, somebody else has any specific technical questions for the. Yeah, Pratik Corona has joined live video. Hi,
Good evening, sir.
good evening. Yeah.
Good evening.
There's some breaking voice. I think you're
Okay.
still now you're unmuted. You can talk. Yeah, I suppose.
Good evening, sir. Actually, some network issue might be.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just turned on my camera because you said ki some students can turn on the
Okay,
camera.
okay.
Right.
Very good. Which place
That's
are you
right.
from?
Sir, I am from Haryana.
Okay,
Haryana.
very good, very good.
And
So you've been going through the lectures and hopefully understand.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to make my fundamentals strong. That's why I have joined database, and this they are applicable anywhere,
Yeah.
everywhere. So that's why. For example, Uber is a
Yeah, sure. Yeah, lots of
there
there's
is
no
even
computer
a car,
science
but it's
application that can work without having a database in the backend.
yes,
So
sir.
it's a very, very important subject. So
Yes,
all
sir.
of you please concentrate and then listen and then solve the problems, etc. Okay. Also, please read the recommended textbooks along with listening to my lectures, so that things will be much more clearer. Good, thank you for joining.
Thank you, sir.
Komal Jayanti, sorry, not Jayanti, Jatyani.
It's Satyani, sir.
Good,
Satyani.
very good. So, do you have any questions to ask?
No, sir. Right now, no, because I free last day because on 4th I was having exam.
Uh-huh.
So after that, I will give focus on the lectures and I will submit the assignments.
Very good, very good. So take your time. Yeah, I know many of you are doing other things also along with this course. So, but I suggest that you don't overload yourself, because all of these things require you to pay good attention so that you will learn one thing in depth.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Which you said, which place are you from?
I'm from Jodhpur, Rajasthan, India.
Oh, Rajasthan. Very good.
Yeah, I completed my MCA from MBM Engineering College, and now I want to pursue MTech. So I want to
Right gate.
trying to strong my fundamental and concepts.
Very good. Strengthen your fundamentals. Yeah, very good.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody has any technical questions, or you can just want to introduce yourself to the class? It's a large class, I know, but there are only 42 participants as of now. So, but we can. So that's why we can afford to.
So it will be helpful for data analyst,
Which one?
this course.
Yeah, this is a fundamental course. So unless you know how to model data and then store it and query it efficiently, it's difficult for you to do a lot of advanced things like analytics, etc.
SQL will come na, in this.
Yes, yeah, SQL will come.
Actually, I'm from commerce background and working as an accountant, but want to switch to data analyst. I have completed one course, but it didn't help me. So
I see.
I'm looking for that.
Yeah, unless I hope in this course you'll be able to understand from the basic material to SQL, so you'll able to pick it up, I think. But if you are from commerce background, I expect that you read a bit of mathematics.
There's
Understanding.
some background noise.
Yeah. Discrete mathematics is a subject that you will require to understand.
Okay, so any book to refer?
Well, there are lots of books on discrete mathematics. Nothing comes to my mind. Rosen's book is there. A lot of books are there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in discrete mathematics, you should I hope understand sets, relations, and mathematical logic. At least this much you must understand in order to appreciate what is happening in database course.
Okay, my probability and
No, those things are probably not required for this course, but those are
Okay.
other they are required for other things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I'm Suman.
Yeah. Okay. Please go ahead.
Sir, actually, I wanted to know how can I get a hands-on experience on create table, select, and all those things, sir.
Yeah, you can get them when see you can install MySQL and then experiment. Once you come to understand how SQL has to be done,
Okay, sir.
we will cover some of these things in the lectures, and after that you can install MySQL and then run create a small database and then experiment with that.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Sure. Yeah.
Sir, one question is there, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So within the logical data independence, we have
Okay.
one point is there, adding a new attribute to the sum relation. So while adding a new attribute to any relation, when sir, attribute is just an entity only. So if we are adding an attribute to any relation, will it not impact the physical data independence?
Okay, wait. I wanted to understand this three-schema architecture in a bit, clear way. This logical independence, physical independence comes in the three-schema architecture of the RDBMS software. Okay. The RDBMS database management system software has an internal conceptual architecture like that. Okay. So it is in that context we talk about these program data independence and these things. Okay. So it is only in that context. Okay. So now coming to your question, these are two different things. Logical data independence is different from physical data independence.
पहला मॉडल थी से ना थी फास्ट पीडीएफ
Upendra, please mute yourself. Okay.
ये मिशे करा छे कि नहीं
पेन नहीं पाएगा तो माइनस
Yeah, so coming back to Keval Krishna,
Yes.
you asked this question, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So by can you rephrase your question now in this context, because it is an architecture of the RDBMS system that we're talking about, three-schema architecture.
Yeah. Sir, my question is that if we are merging any attribute or an entity.
No, don't bring in entity here, because you have to be very clear.
Yeah.
The concept belongs to ER model.
Yes. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, be very careful, because you have to use the technical terms in the exact
Phrase.
Meanings in which they are intended to be used.
So means that adding any new attribute to getting us some new relation, will it impact the physical data?
Yeah, see, it will impact, but only thing is it will be managed by adjusting the mappings, logical to physical
Mappings, yes.
mappings will be adjusted. Why we are concerned about the logical scheme and physical scheme is that logical scheme is the one that is actually designed by the database designers. So
questions.
yeah, hold on, Upendra, I'm talking to somebody. Just hold on for some time about your question. Okay. Okay. So when at the logical level, when a relation has been, let's say, set up, it's possible that in the physical level, it is realized by having multiple files also. You understand?
Yes.
So that is the, in the physical layer, there may be two files that might correspond to one relation in the logical layer. Okay. So it all depends on the convenience of implementation at the physical layer. At the physical layer, there are actual files of records which are stored on disks and all that. Whereas the logical layer, we have relations. Relation is a concept, right? Relation is defined as a set of tuples. Okay. So that's why, it is in this context we talk about the logical data independence. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
You reread that portion again, and if you have any question, I will take it up towards the end of it.
Yes.
Yeah. So Upendra, you want to ask any question because you have turned on your video. Maybe by mistake. Okay, let's see whether there are any other questions.
So there is one question in the chat that if the exam pattern would be MCQ based or there would be theoretical answers also.
I think no, right now we are constrained to have only MCQs. So the final exam also will have MCQs only. But only thing is it will be definitely a little bit at a tougher level. You have to understand this material to a certain depth before you can answer those questions.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. All right.
Yeah. But it will be MCQs. And probably just fill in the blanks or like that.
Right.
Yeah. Numerical answers like that. Yeah, Sashi K, please go ahead. Graph theory. Well, not much at this stage. You're just getting introduced to the database systems. So you don't have to put in too many things into one thing, right? So we will not bring in any graph theory here. Okay.
IIT Madras ରୁ ପଢୁଛି ଦେଖିଲ ବି
What, Mr. Upendra Bhag, you want to ask any question? Do you want to ask any question? You have turned on your audio and video. there's a live session going on where I'm trying to answer doubts by the students. One second, somebody is asking something here. Dayakar Rao. Every week might be, he is asking whether there will be a live session with Prof every week. Every week might be a little bit difficult, but I'm trying to see, depending on at least, once in 2 weeks or something like that. We'll see, depending on my availability. And whether actually in the Google's form, there were no technical questions. So, and if a session is announced and there are a lot of technical questions, then we can have some fruitful time. Okay. So let us see how it goes. Okay, so let's see whether any other questions are there. Technical questions.
Sir, one question is yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, Keval. Sir, the question is that if we will have the multiple databases in case, and we will have the multiple entities in that within the two databases, let for an example, we are taking the two databases.
Okay.
And from the one database, and from one database, if we are considering any one or a particular column or a two column, and from first database again we are considering the first and the second column, and both have the relationship as well. And sir, one question which is might be not been currently not been covered in the syllabus till week 2, that the keys are one is the primary key, another is the foreign key. So could we
see again, Keval, I will ask you to hold on to this question.
Yeah.
Ask me later. But first of all, I don't want you to use the term database for just a relation. Okay. So if you mean a relation or a table, so that itself, a database is a collection of such relations. Okay. So probably you're saying that there is one attribute in one table, another attribute in another table, and how are they going to, relate with each other, etc. Right?
Like that only.
Yeah. So that will come when I start talking about relational data model. There will be a clear explanation about what exactly is a foreign key. And after you listen to that, we can have more questions on that.
Okay. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right now, you have probably not heard about that, right? That lectures are not yet covered.
I am also doing just currently the ER model only.
Yeah. Right now, it's
I am also covering that part.
Yeah. Okay.
So can I ask a question?
Sure. Go ahead.
Sir, is Navate sufficient for this course, or do we have to read other text also? Like Navate is mentioned in the course page.
Yeah. See, database systems books are this much thick. You read one book first.
Okay.
Then you can think about reading other books.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
I hope you
got it, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
There
are many books like Olmet. Yes.
They're all very, very 600, 700 pages books.
Yes, sir.
Along with other courses and other things, trying to do. You should read, but choose one and read that full. Then you can read other books. I'm not saying that don't read anything else.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let's see if there are any other questions. Somebody was asking what is the level of SQL. I think we will take that up when we come to SQL. It will be, it's difficult to kind of say what is advanced SQL and all that. So let's see. The idea while teaching SQL would be that you would be comfortable posing SQL queries, okay, and you would have learned sufficient amount of SQL that you can do other advanced things or learn them easily. Okay, your fundamentals should first be strong, then you can learn advanced things. And it's after all a 12 or 12-week course, right? We should not cram too many things into that. Okay, any other questions?
Sir, could you elaborate this query optimizer? You are telling about the algebraic expressions which are converted by the compiler to the.
Who is asking that question?
Sir, Keval here.
Okay.
Sir, within one slide, we are explaining that your slide has been explained that within the query compiler, when it is moved to the query optimizer, it is changing to the algebraic expressions. So, sir, how this means is been going to that?
Yeah, we will give a more detailed example of how query evaluation happens when we come to an appropriate stage in the course. Okay. But right now, what I can tell you is that the SQL query is internally transformed into a relational algebraic query, and that relational algebraic query will be algebraically rewritten such that the transformation that we do is preserving the meaning of the original relational algebra state query. Okay, so that when you generate a execution plan from that relational algebra query, it will hopefully be efficient. Okay, that's the idea.
Sir, what I thought is it just like a encoding in another language?
No, it is not another language. There is a shift from what is from SQL. SQL is like a declarative language. You only specify what you want, what is to be satisfied by the data that you are retrieving. Whereas internally, it has to get transformed into what is called a procedural query language, which with a very detailed, plan of execution, how exactly it has to be executed. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you want to ask anything, Upendra? You have unmuted yourself.
Sir, what do you mean by functional dependency and Sir, functional dependency? What's
functional dependency? It comes much later. Don't worry right now.
Okay, sir.
You confine your questions to what has happened in the last 2 weeks. Okay?
Last 3 weeks. Okay, sir.
Yeah, 2 weeks. I don't think I have mentioned functional dependency in the last 2 weeks, but it will come much later.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So I wanted to get to meet all of you learners who are keen on learning database systems and have been going through my lectures. So please keep doing that, because this is a very important subject and very useful subject for computer science students. And it's very much used whatever jobs you take up, etc. So pay attention to all the lecture material and the weekly assignments that we are giving, and keep making use of these live sessions. Once in a while, we will be announcing these live sessions. Make use of them to clarify your questions. Okay, so with those words, probably I will close the session unless you have any further questions. I'm watching the chat, I think. Can someone become a DBA at the end of the course? Very interesting. It depends on how much you actually learn from the course. Like Rob, if you learn very well and then understood all the fundamentals, maybe yes, you can become a DBA. Okay, yeah. It also depends on what kind of a database you would be designing. Good. So you'll understand the fundamentals of database management system, all the intricacies and various technical details. Okay. Good. So let's see. Yeah.
Sir, within the application program compiler and within the GUI parameter means combined application programs. So both took the SQL queries, or it is just a user interface means.
Okay. See, in the what naive users will use will be like the forms that you fill when you do an IRCTC reservation. Get my point? So you won't know much details about what is the background in database and all that. So whatever you are filling in, that's the naive user's interface. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you can't pose a SQL query to IRCTC website, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah. So naive users use pre-designed forms to get certain work done by the database server. Okay. Whereas a little bit more sophisticated users will have access to send SQL queries to the database server and then get more detailed data and then make use of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, all the 12 assignments are also weekly assignments or MCQs. Yeah. Right now, we are not yet planning anything else, but there may be some change. We will let you know in case it is there. Okay.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, who is speaking?
Hema.
Okay, Mr. Hema, go ahead.
Sir, my question is like I am 2021 pass out in CS, computer engineering. So like I'm very keen interest in the database system. But like in last semester when I'm working with my project as LMS system, which is like our college build, at that time I faced many difficulty related to like database and all these things.
Okay.
I have seen many things. So you can suggest me the roadmap. How can I improve the database or all things related knowledge?
Yeah, you complete this course completely. I mean, and once you understand all the fundamentals clearly, then once your designs are better, then you will not face trouble while implementing the project. Oftentimes, no, you tend to go ahead and do a little bit, some implementation based on not so thoroughly, checked design, and that's where the problems come.
Okay.
The designs of the database design should be proper. Then you won't normally face problems at the implementation stage.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Let me see whether that okay, so you're probably somebody is asking, Divakar is asking. Are you talking about some additional security layers and things like that? Yeah, that would that would affect the process sending the information to the database server, right? So because it has to go through encryption, decryption, and all that, so it will naturally affect the overall performance, not the database performance. Database will continue to do its work, as fast as it can. But the overall interaction, because of the other layers that are there, might get slowed down. Good. So let's see. I think there are no more questions, looks like. So we'll probably stop here. And I'll see you. So if you have, we will announce another live session in about a week, 10 days time. So you can, jot down the queries that you may be having while listening to the subsequent lectures, and then bring them up in the next live session. Okay. So all the best to all of you. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead. So we'll close the session. Thank you all. for joining.